Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to come back your way. It's African Art Talks with Eric, and this is season 2. Can you believe it? So, in 2020, we had season 1 where I interviewed a lot of artists from the continent of Africa, and 2021 was a downtime for me. So, as in, I took time off to recalibrate myself. And this year, I'm coming back in full force. 2023, we're coming back in full force where we'll interview prolific artists from the continent of Africa. I'm so excited when it comes to art and Africa. So today we'll be inviting a guest from Africa, and I'll dive straight in because in the past I've been talking about the Dinkra symbols. I'll see what else we can talk about and learn in terms of African art. But today we are interviewing such a prolific artist from the continent of Africa, and I'll do the introductions so that we dive straight in. He's in the person of Patrick William-Dodoo, a person that I've known for years. And I do admire his sense of commitment to the field of art. He's an ambassador, an SDG ambassador. He pushes the frontiers of Ghana art and everything to do with creativity in art. And I'll let him tell you a bit about himself when he comes. But let us welcome Patrick to our screens now. So, Patrick, hey, how you doing today?
Very good, big brother. Very,
I
very
didn't
big
want to
good.
go through your whole accolade of achievements and everything. One
Ah,
of them is that you are the fastest live painter in Ghana.
yes, please. Yes, please. In
The
fact,
fastest live painter in Ghana. But hey, Patrick,
sure.
how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Audience who've joined us,
Very good.
welcome to this program. I'm so excited that you've been able to join us
Thank you.
this afternoon. So, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Just
Good.
preparing
Good.
for another show,
Oh, already?
which is just about, yeah, exactly. I actually, as a consultant too, so I aid
Okay.
in other people's programs to actually go through and all that. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good.
that's
Right.
fine.
So, for those of the rest of the world that do not know Patrick, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, Patrick is a very wonderful gentleman. Personally, I'm trying to still know him more. He
I like
gets
that.
to. I'm trying to know him exactly because each and every time it's much more or less like he being the person that we need to also learn to say no. But then, regardless, he gets to challenge himself with everything that other people do.
Mm,
There is nothing that he has never got his hands on that hasn't been called perfect. He is that prolific, like you made mention of. But then the one word I actually use for Patrick is consistency.
that's
And
it.
so, yes, I'm glued to two particular things, focusing on two particular things, and that is one, arts and politics currently.
Oh,
But
wow.
Patrick is
Okay.
an artist who exactly Patrick is an artist who's actually grown through the space of art scenes in Ghana and then beyond actually Ghana as in a sense Africa.
Mm,
With Africa, Patrick currently is the Progressive African Network Vice President, which is highly initiated by His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo from Nigeria, ex-president. Yeah. There are other few connections to what Patrick also does. That is the Sustainable Development Goals Art Ambassador to Africa, where Patrick actually gets to aid other people in terms of selling out works and then other few funding from some key noted agencies and able to use the arts as a tool to actually explain and encourage more people into the understanding of the goals. That is the 17 goals that is in the Sustainable Development Goals actually explains and then tries to target on. Yes.
okay. Wow. You've got a lot on your plate, isn't it, Patrick? And I wonder how you
A lot,
balance
so
all
much.
these and then get time to paint, which you usually do, like sometimes in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
or even sometimes I wake up
Hmm.
at 2 a.m. and then Patrick is behind his canvas painting. And I'm like, wow.
Sure.
Committed.
Exactly.
No,
Well, one thing my godfather will always say is that there is more rest when you die. So,
mm,
since you
mm,
have the
mm.
time, you do what is best you can do.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
the Bible can also talk about being much efficient in your time of your youth. There's a time I have, and so the best that I can probably put in every best by enforcing the works and things that I need to do. Like I said, consistency. If I break out of that consistency, there won't be any prolific Patrick.
That's very true. That is profound. That is really profound because the thing is, once you're gone, you're gone. It's now that you're alive that you need to be the best that you can be. So why not? Let's put in the hard work. Right.
Exactly.
So, thank you,
Uh-huh.
viewers, for joining us today. I've got Patrick William-Dodoo, a prolific artist from Ghana, which is in the continent of Africa. And today we're going to talk about all things African art and also talk about an exhibition that he held quite a few weeks ago in Accra, Ghana. The
Yeah.
exhibition is called, is it Black Age Series? Is it?
Yes, Black 8 series.
Series, Black Age Series. And I'm going to show you a few slides from that exhibition as well as the actual artworks that were exhibited at that series. So I'm going to show a
Brilliant.
few slides and Patrick will talk us through what actually happened. And the turnout was really great. I mean, I'm quite impressed with the number of people that
Very.
turned that snapshot from the corner as to what happened that night. So can you tell us
Sure,
all about
sure, sure.
Black Age Series and what it's all about, please?
Okay, so Black 8 series came out of the very wonderful skill that I actually needed to put together out of um, my skill as a black and white artist, notified as a live painting personnel who actually a person who are an artist who actually paints in black and white. But one of the things is that whilst working on these, I actually came into different people, different skin treatments, and I realized that my skill actually exhibits more onto the wrinkles of other aged men and all that. But
Oh,
my work as an arts ambassador actually lets me end up getting to be in the aged people, the very vulnerable ones, and then all that other kids that doesn't really find to have a very wonderful space within maybe luxury or any other. And so taking pictures of them and then sometimes taking pictures with them became a very wonderful hobby too. But then within my search, I ended up getting to love the paint and the treatment of how to come out of it. Now, the Blockage series is, as in the sense, showing the full identity of how most blacks have been seen to be. But then the main thing is that the whole basics or the whole objective of the Black Age series is about hope. The
right.
hope that others will get to understand the tough skin of other people. My black and white paintings, other people just sometimes ask, is it charcoal? Is it pencil? No, it is acrylic. The medium is acrylic paint, black, and that is it. Sometimes my few friends go by cracking the joke that the whole if you don't have black in Ghana, then Patrick has probably
You bought them all. Then Patrick has bought them. So, Patrick, are you still there? Can you hear us? We seem
bought
to have lost.
everything. So yes, I paint in black. I mean, with these are the paintings a lot of room. So Black Age
Okay.
series are the paintings that actually made a lot of room for um, other few, let me say, countries that I needed to attend and
Yeah,
all that.
that's really
Exactly. So there are a lot
because
of things to do.
yeah. No, carry on, Patrick.
Exactly. Oh yeah, sure. Kafui is like that.
Actually, Amrago is saying rest.
All right, Kafui, I see
There's more rest after death. That
you.
resonates with everyone. I mean, there's more rest as an artist. Yes, definitely
Sure.
more rest after death. But carry on with your Black
Exactly.
History and
Exactly.
tell us what really inspired you to come up with that concept of just capturing
So
humanity
exactly, I
and
was
celebrating life.
yeah. My system of work throughout the years as an as a live artist made me actually paint in a very short time, yet expected to achieve a certain resemblance within the same time that others will use months, days, or hours to do. I was painting in less than 2 minutes, 10 minutes. I mean, a minimum of 1 minute, 22 seconds. That is the record I still hold. And it was the portrait of the late president.
Ah, the sounds seems to be cutting out. But Patrick's achievement is remarkable. I mean, can you hear the times that he's talking about? Patrick, are you back in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's fine. I was just saying
consistency
that the
in
sound
getting
keeps
to
cutting off.
portray all these things.
Yeah, yeah. The sounds keeps
Pardon
cutting
me,
off. So
Eric. Yeah,
yeah, the sounds keeps cutting off. But when you hear me talk
exactly.
over you, then it's because I'm just filling in the gap for what you said. But you were saying that you do paint
I
within
understand you.
2 minutes. Within 2 minutes, you would have actually painted
Yes,
someone. And your record is how much? How many
sure.
minutes?
126 minutes.
So 1 minute,
One
26 seconds.
minute, 1 minute, yes.
You were able to paint a
Seconds,
portrait of
actually,
someone.
of the president, of the late president, Atamils, on the national
Amazing.
platform. That's
Oh,
national
wow.
theater.
Live audience, basically.
Live audience. All the live paintings are live audience. So I've never
That's
done any of them from the
remarkable.
studio as others do and then edits.
Mm, 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 mm. No, that's real talent because the pressure of the live audience alone can actually let you forget what
Sure.
you're painting sometimes. But if you're able to do it within 1 minute, 26 seconds, that is remarkable.
Yeah,
We need
exactly.
to be contacting the Guinness Book of Records. Great.
Well, we've come a very long way. Today, I think there is this quote from Picasso, or it's
Mm,
a very short story which someone speaks about being at I think a restaurant with Picasso, and then asked Picasso to do a very small sketch, and it was done, and asked of the price, and the price was a bit outrageous to each and everyone who was actually present.
that's
But
right.
he replies by telling them that what you think you've seen so unique and everything has come over through age.
That's
People
true.
have spent years to just
Listen.
master the speed that they are doing today. So if you might see it and then feel, oh, in some few minutes you'll be able to do this, and so just give me a very good price or cut down price or not any other thing, they're only forgetting that you have gone through the pain of
Mm,
sleepless
mm,
nights to
mm.
really come up with all this skill. Yeah.
Yeah, practicing daily, putting in paying your dues, having a minimum of 10,000 hours committed to your craft, and all that. So, yes, if someone sees the beautiful work that is out every day, it's not just by chance.
Uh-huh.
And with Patrick, I can testify to it because I see on your Facebook post or your WhatsApp status how committed and dedicated you are to the craft of work, of art, basically. You actually put in the work yourself.
Well, Eric, come again with that question,
I'm saying
if
that
you can
with
hear
you,
me.
there's evidence of your commitment because I see on your WhatsApp status sometimes
Mm,
and your Facebook posts how you actually put in the work itself. It's not just hearsay. So if
exactly.
you're achieving these feats, it's as a result of hard work.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Mm, mm, mm.
That's it. Sure.
So we're going back to the series. Let's look at your conception, your process, everything that goes into how you come up with
Mm-hmm.
concepts before you do the actual painting.
Mm,
And there's a
mm,
quotation that you put on Facebook here.
yeah.
That's Patrick in action, by the way. He says that a stable mind is calculated,
Yeah.
but its level of focus in achieving the aim. Art has been my birthroots path, and nothing will ever take away from bigger. What do you mean by that?
Well, actually, let me start from Bigger.
Okay.
So Bigger is my nickname from childhood, and it was given to
Oh,
me by my brothers.
I now understand.
Thank you. And less did I know that these nicknames actually also sometimes have a toll on you.
Yeah.
And so I have a friend with the nickname Lucifer, and things has never been well. Exactly. So my nickname given to me by my brothers, shout out to all my siblings out there,
Mm,
In fact, we are a lot, but then we are not talking about that today. So then, so um, they gave me the name Bigger. Bigger has been a very wonderful name on my side. I mean, hardly do I use the name in that form because of political stance. I don't want to do anything nicknames and glue along with my name in particular. Name speaks so much and everything.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, a stable mind is calculated by its level of focus. No matter how it is, when you even think of driving and you just want to hit within a spot of, acceleration, you stop thinking about any other person in the car or whatsoever, because you are the main decision behind the steer. Someone will say, go left, go right. But if you know where you need to turn to, you stop thinking about any other person. Your eyes, your everything stays focused within that small loophole that needs to go through that main. And so you just hit it. And then as it continues by saying that, the same thing, the art, aim, and everything. It is all about, it says that the art has been my birth root path, and nothing will ever take that from Bigger. And it's true. From the very tender age, I've actually started with art. Everyone notifies the name Patrick with arts as his example, or probably anything related as what you can easily notify Patrick with. You
It's
speak
art,
about
isn't it?
Patrick
That's right.
Dodoo, you always talk about art, because
It's
it's
very
even now.
synonymous with art, isn't it? You mentioned Patrick.
Exactly.
Everyone goes to art, basically.
That's the
Yeah.
main thing. Everyone from set designs, from a number of things. Like just yesterday, I had an interview and then the privilege to meet the councilman Kate from that is Maryland. And
Okay.
so he and I and some other few political heads, and so we've been together. We're trying to just work along with some other few NGO sections, and then how
Yeah.
to be able to just do exchange programs and all that.
Exactly.
And whenever I speak about that, people don't really see Patrick in politics, but then I feel that art is the root of every development. And so if we think we are good politicians or we are good citizens of the nations, we should actually start minding the things or the settlements of other people, because since we have children and we think that we didn't have the best of what the world should have actually given us, that is not the world to be blamed. It is you to be blamed, because you did not put an effort to it. And so if you think you are wise enough to really have the best for your child, then you better start thinking for the world or the surrounding, probably your community of which you are in. If you
Exactly.
make that community protective enough, it will
Yeah.
be, good enough for your children to Australia also live up from. Yeah.
Wow, that's profound. That's the politics in Patrick coming out for us. But no, it's true. Everything you said,
Oh yeah, sure.
because everything starts from creativity.
Mhm.
So your creative thinking
Sure.
forms the basis of our living. You know, the house we live in, the cars we drive,
Exactly.
everything was birthed out of our thinking, our creative thinking ability. So art
Exactly.
plays a role. Yes, yes, yes. Right. So let's go back to
Yes.
the exhibition, because today I want us to really focus on that exhibition and the works that you showed. And I'm going to
Thank you.
play a bit
Mm-hmm.
of the process that you go through, and then we'll talk about that process. Let's
Mm-hmm.
play. I'm going to play this video. Guys, let's have a look at
Oh,
Patrick.
sure.
Time? Even in the shower?
That's a trick question. Sonic the Hedgehog prefers bubble bath.
Man, you're good.
I learned Knuckles was on your trail. I knew I couldn't just sit back and watch anymore. I had to come warn you.
What? Hang on one second. Doing a Lord's check. Just chilling. Watching TV. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. Why are we working with this service? Because that civilian space trash is the key to something extraordinary. Something that didn't touch a hedgehog. I think it was done. The ability to see without all my mind is just nuts.
So there we go. That is Patrick in
Yeah.
action right there. And you see the process that he goes through. And as you said, you use acrylic, isn't it?
Exactly, acrylic,
You
just
use
acrylic,
acrylic
black acrylic.
to achieve
Yeah,
such a beautiful piece. We've got Samuel William-Dodoo, and I
true.
believe his brother, is he? Is Samuel your brother?
Oh yes, yes,
Oh,
yes,
wow.
Sammy.
Wow. Hi, Samuel. Hi, Samuel. It would be nice to meet you in person as well.
Yes, my
Um,
young brother, a doctor.
uh, is he in Takrady?
Yes, he is at I think Sankregua in
Oh,
yes, the
wow.
western side.
Wow.
Sure.
Hi, Patrick. Thank you for joining
Eh,
us in. And your brother is a wonderful soul. He's an amazing
Sure.
corporate artist and SDG ambassador. Such a great inspiration to many. I mean, you've put it right there. Patrick is a beautiful soul
Thank
on this
you.
planet Earth, and he's impacting lives. So you
Exactly.
have a
Thank you,
great
Mensa.
brother. I hope you are a good person as well. I believe you are.
Sure. Oh, he is. He
I
is. He is
know,
my
I know.
mentor.
I'll definitely get in touch with him as well. So yes, that is
Exactly.
the process that you go through, and I want us
Mm.
to talk about it. First of all, just on the lighter side, do you normally paint with your shirt off? Does that inspire you?
Oh, so, well, I need to be extremely free each and every time I'm painting. Actually, I stay within a space where my exactly quite a number of my paintings actually almost has my shirts off.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes to the extreme, like extreme, but then that one doesn't come on cameras and all that. I mean, you need to be free,
That's just for
you
your
know.
eyes.
Exactly, exactly.
I know.
And
I
so
like. I
it
like
just
the
needs to
fact
be
that
free.
that level of freedom is there.
Mm.
Mm.
Exactly. And I feel that actually when I get to have all these aprons and other things on, it restricts me.
Yes.
But then when I go all out in this form, it makes me very light and
Hmm.
able to exert out the pressure, tension, whatsoever. I mean, art is the only therapy that actually seeks me through every disease, I mean, I would say disease, every
Every
sickness
strength.
whatsoever, anything, every stress, whatever that I go through. As
Yeah.
soon as I pick paint, everything leaves. Like I pick or anything planning, I not necessarily painting because I'm an architectural advisor too. So sometimes I
Oh wow.
do build things like
Okay.
3D
Okay.
mockups for
Mm.
exactly. So 3D mockups for other few like we have currently TV3. I happen to be the logo designer for TV3. I mean, I said TV3, Metro TV.
Metro
There are
TV.
some certain
Oh,
sets.
okay.
Yes, yes. So the current logo at Metro TV, Ghana, I happen to be the one who designed it. There
Well
had
done.
been a lot of things that I would be able to just point out, but sometimes people do ask, "What exactly don't you do?"
Mm,
Because
mm,
like you're doing
mm.
everything.
Everything.
But
Yes.
what I think I don't do the things people don't ask me to do, because if you
Exactly.
contract me, then I am ready to do it.
To
But
do
if
it,
you don't contract me, then there's
and
nothing
you
that I
won't
will
just
probably
force
just say.
yourself. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. 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 I understand that, and it makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
I also understand
Sure.
freedom in liberating yourself when you're painting. Don't restrict yourself with
Perfect.
clothes. Just like the
Mm-mm.
athletes, when the athletes are going on
Mm-hmm.
a field, they don't wear a lot of
Exactly.
clothes on them, so that they
Mm-mm.
are free in the mind to
Mm-hmm.
perform the task ahead of them. So they just wear very skimpy
Sure.
dress to enable them perform at their optimum.
That's it.
Yeah. So I do
Perfect.
agree. And having said that, this
Sure.
is the outcome of that beautiful, beautiful painting that you were doing. Isn't it amazing?
Oh yeah, it's so
That is
amazing. So
amazing.
this
So
Bob
tell
Marley
me this.
piece was just this Bob Marley piece was done all in 45 minutes. It was when I was getting stressed up and still waiting for my driver, and he was not in, and I felt getting angry. It's better to actually exert it by coming up with something huge. And this is very huge. Just like 4 by 5.5 feet, and
It's a huge one as
it
well.
speaks
Yeah.
so much. Yes, it is. It is. And so, well, this is the outcome. This is the outcome. It's two places where it actually explains Bob Marley in the youth. When you watch it from my stand currently, it will be on your right. And so Bob
Yes.
Marley in the youth, where he would have a lot of wrinkles on the face and everything, not necessarily that his youth had a lot of experiences. I mean, a lot of wrinkles, but then these wrinkles, like I explained earlier in the um, Blackhead series are experiences of people. And so,
Mm,
yes, he had a lot of things to say. So you see Momali with the mouth opened. There's a lot of things he spoke out. The question in here is that did he ever thought, that is what he's doing on the left, did he ever thought that all these things he said, all these quotes he made, all these songs he wrote will
mm,
actually be legendary even after his death? And
mm,
today,
mhm.
this is where we all actually testify to the point that, I mean, Bob Marley would always say, redemption song. There is always a very good sayings and all that that you can actually pick up from Bob Marley. A strong,
Yeah,
unified personnel. That's God really helped. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. So all about hope.
beautiful
Yeah.
concept. Beautiful concept in two dimensions where he was the youth as well as when he was grown. And we believe that Bob has made
Exactly.
an impact to the world. We still talk about him daily.
Perfect.
We still refer to his quotations daily. And therefore, that's a powerful
Mm-hmm.
rendition of the great Bob Marley.
Mm-hmm.
So let's stick to the concept of wrinkles and facial expressions and everything.
Yeah.
You capture it so
Yes.
well, and it's so dynamic in
Extremely.
terms of flow to the
Mm-hmm.
contour of their face.
Mm. Mm.
What
So
makes you
yes, so
speak? I mean, what are you trying to achieve here?
the very first piece on the right, that is Miles Davis, has a colorful trumpet to the chest and then held onto. All these wrinkles are just like I made mention, are all experiences of people that
Mm,
have grown through. But then when brought together, it forms a beauty that we are actually appreciating today.
yeah.
And so these same wrinkles and all that, I mean, all the other ones he helps around that side. Miles Davis actually went through, it wasn't easy for him through his history, but then yet the same trumpet made him who he is. The
That's
next
right.
person in the, I mean, in the middle, there's a
Yeah.
woman who actually was very instrumental in Uganda some times ago. So this down to one of the, maybe, let me say, the um, women from a different country into the war zone where things were so hard. When you get very close to that image, it actually has a graphic that's embedded graphic inside it. And then she was actually a writer and a poet who also
Okay.
used that space to actually help quite a number of people. She didn't have it that easy as well. But
Mm,
today she's also seen as one of the people that actually contributed to, let me say, the sustainable literature growth of the place.
yeah.
The last person we have on the left is a man who actually drove me in the northern region, and very nice gentleman, a very nice man,
Wow.
and the detailings and everything I really loved. But sometimes when you pick up the image itself, it doesn't have all these wrinkles, but some of them I try in as much as possible to bring them out because it's just about getting the contrast out of the very dark means that it also has. So, yeah, that is the main thing. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, everyone has a story to tell, and you capture each one story or experience in life through the lines and the contours on their face. Because it's true, when you compare people from different
Sure.
parts of the world, you can tell that some have
Uh
specific
huh.
shapes and wrinkles due to the environment within which they live as well. So human beings adapt in the environment,
Exactly.
and it show on our skins as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you've captured that beautifully. So
Yes.
let's carry on with this one. Let's have a look at this one. And I can see that you've gone
Yeah,
for
sure.
music theme with this one.
Uh huh.
So can you tell us a bit
Uh
about
huh.
these two?
So, well, pardon me, which one of?
So let's take the one on the right hand side.
Oh, yeah, sure. So Miles Davis. Okay, so the one on the right, John Coltrane, is also more something to do with music. Personally, I love music. I've been singing for quite some time. Most times when I started the live painting, I needed to sing to just get people on a very peace mind and everything, get their nerves so calmed, and then get the space of time to actually have that patience to
Mhm.
watch me do what I need to do. And so music has been a very wonderful part of my life.
Yeah.
I've loved jazz from a very tender age because that's what my father actually brought me up with. And Louis Armstrong was one of the most ultimating, fact that my father actually also all the time held me. But whilst growing, I actually came across a certain man, Leslie Sells. He
Okay.
actually changed my life, and Edwin Bennett. And so Edwin Bennett is actually a doctor and currently in California. He used to be in UK, and then now has actually changed. These two gentlemen have actually changed my life in through music and that of jazz. And
Mhm.
so they brought me into the space of Ron Carter, the living legend, double bass guitarist, who
Right.
we speak and sometimes also exchange other few gifts. John Coltrane, not existent, but then I love images that they send me to paint.
Yeah.
Other few images that, yeah, sure, they do send these things. And then the images that I try pick up are very sensational images that should show a lot of expression.
Mhm.
So my image selections are very, very, I mean, critical to me, as in how to really read meaning out of it, even without maybe explaining to a certain collector or whatsoever.
Yeah.
But my vision is that people will get to have their own concept and interpretations out of their view,
Yeah.
and not the concept that the artist actually builds up. Yeah.
No, that's great.
Mm.
One question I would like to ask is why have you stuck to monochrome and then with a hint of color? Why have you stuck to that idea? So by
Exactly.
monochrome,
Well,
for those that don't understand, black and white or
black and white.
yeah.
Sure. Well, I believe in the sense of the black identity or the personal relation where other people gets to understand what it means to embrace the space for what you are being called for, who
Mm,
you are, or when maybe someone glanced through a certain work, they're able to just point without mentioning name or actually going in to look at the signature.
that's a
So
signature
that
on it.
brand I needed to build. Exactly. That brand I needed to build came out from probably, let me say, about 12 years ago when
Okay.
we actually started practicing towards the live paintings.
Yeah.
And I realized that others are really doing the live paintings out there, all in colored. And
Mm,
so trying to be very much different or call out some certain um identity that could be very much significant among all these live painters. I
okay.
wanted to stick to black and white. Now the black and white I actually worked on to help me out so much to be able to explain myself the essence of how it is important to eradicate racism,
Mm,
because without the black that we might think it's bad, it is the same black that I actually use in depicting things out of the same white canvas. And so
good.
these are consistencies for my practice, for my selections, that actually speaks so much about my dream as a politician, and then as my dream as also a very good let me say eminent personnel to anything related development. So even if you think of any other thing, just think that God's canvas is not white, it is
Mhm.
always black. And actually, I learned this thing from Dr. Abu Sankara,
Yeah.
former CPP presidential aspirant. He taught me that God's canvas is always from a very dark side. He
Black.
created the world out of exactly. He created the world out of void where everything was so dark, and then he created light. And so, if we think of canvases or any other thing to God, it is always black. In the other
Ex-
sense, it is dark. I would say dark and not related to black. But then the
Yeah.
main thing is that he picks the one from nowhere,
Mhm.
which can equally be related to dark, and brings light into the being of that person. And so these are the things. And then I think that gradually, as I made mention, I'm trying to know myself. I might probably be the exact person that indeed God will also use as an example to really know himself, because maybe I'm also exacting my talent for him to know that
Expressing
okay, this is the one exactly, this is the one I've created and he's using it so well, and so maybe things of that sort will just come through, not anything probably related wealth or whatsoever. All
yes,
other ones will be added to it. Yeah.
exactly. Very well explained. Now let's look at some
Sure.
comments that are coming through. So OYFX Limited, uh, Patrick, you can make painting look so easy. You're such an inspiration. So I'm
Thank
not
you,
sure whether you know him
brother.
personally, but you giggled
Oh,
over there. You know,
Exactly. So that is my, yes, that's my forex trading lecture.
oh
Yeah,
wow, that's good.
I trade too. So
Great
like
as
I
well.
may mention, I do.
Man of many talents. But no, I think
He is
what
good.
he has said is really true. You make painting look
Yeah.
so easy. I mean, if you can
Mm.
paint the Bob Marley picture within
Hmm.
45 minutes and
Yes,
it came
45
out
minutes.
this beautiful, for those of
Mm.
you who didn't see it earlier, let me show that to you. That was painted
Once
in
again,
45 minutes. So if that can be done in
sure.
45 minutes, then what can't you do?
Exactly.
It's so easy. We've got another comment that is coming through from our own Seb Benagbe. Ben is
Yay!
our own uncle
Uncle
says
Ben.
very interesting. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
Uncle Ben,
sure.
salute, salute, salute. Uncle Ben will be
In
on.
fact, exactly, he needs to be on because I respect
Yeah,
this man so
I
well.
respect you too.
How he patronized all the youth in Ghana and tried to be every single show. He's so
Wow.
supportive, just like Mr. Mills too.
Oh yes,
These people are so good. They are so great.
exactly. So, Mr.
Yeah,
Ben, that's Mr. Abe, you'll be on very, very soon. Hopefully next
it
week.
must
I
be
mean, talk in the
sure.
background with you. So hopefully, I'll bring him on next week.
Exactly.
I can't also wait to see his works. He's a prolific
Sure.
genius
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the context of art in Ghana.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
Ben, thank you so much for your comment. So let's move on to other
Yeah.
aspects of what you showed during the show. I'll
Mm.
just This is a snapshot of the environment that it was. There are so many other pieces. I like this one, the one on the left,
Mm.
where there's a
Yeah.
face with all
Sure.
hands. I like that concept. What
Exactly.
is it about?
Okay, so I actually worked on this image actually in the sense of when our elders do say that what an old man
Hmm.
or what an elderly person will sit and see, not even the bravest youth can stand on a mountain and see that same thing. In the
Wow.
other sense, they have the experience that they can either get ears or hands to probably close all their ears, get hands trying to close all their eyes, or even get hands to even shut their mouth. But yet, with that experience that they already have, they don't need eyes to see, they don't need ears to hear, they don't need
True.
mouth to actually speak the very wonderful, maybe things that needs to be spoken to us as the youth or regardless any other. But then the experience has always been there from scratch, and they've grown through it out of maybe other hardship, out of maybe other, like I made mention, these are the experiences. But then the whole explanation to this is simply that at the end of the day, your eyes is ticked up, and there is hope for you to actually come out of that liberation there.
And that's beautifully captured over here.
Mm,
Very well
mm.
done. And then the next two that I'm going to show, these are a bit different. Now, this is where you introduce, you combine color and your
Yes,
monochromatic approach.
yes,
So, can
yes.
you tell us a bit more about these two? I love them. I love them.
So over some few years, I actually took a very strong decision that as an artist, what can I do to actually change the world?
Hmm.
And I knew that the only tool that God has given me is actually paint and brush. Regardless, there are other talents, but then as a man, you need to actually focus on one and then master within that space. Like maybe Joe Metal would do songs.
Yes.
Um, yeah, some other few friends will also do some other few things. So, or let me say someone like maybe Alote Steven would also
Hmm.
do with
Oh,
sculpture.
that's right.
Yes, and some other, yeah. So these things are there. But then with these images, I actually want to just speak about the sustainable development goals, because
Hmm.
when I realized that I needed to use my tools, I needed to find a problem and also use that tool to be able to change it. And
Yeah.
so my days in Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Gambia, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, quite a number of African countries that I've gone through. The main thing I actually exhibited through was getting to capture what we actually spoke about SDGs, that is
Hmm.
Sustainable Development Goals, which I believe people still doesn't even know what it means by SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Now, Sustainable Development Goals was actually implemented by the United Nations, UN, and actually out of the Millennium Goals. And then we thought that it will be best that the Millennium Goals, having a number of years, let us cut these years down and be able to make each and every target that we have achievable. And so we have 17 goals, but then the question in here is that if that goes within 30, the span of 30 years, that very day that that goal was actually implemented, Eric. Now, guess what? If Eric had probably given birth to one
Mm.
of all any of these children on the canvases that I've created, in the other sense, in 30 years, the 17 goals should be of benefit to these kids.
Yes.
Like one, these kids are growing to have quality education. These
Hmm.
kids are growing to that 30 years to actually meet good infrastructure. These
Yeah.
kids are never going to have maybe hunger issues. There's going to be quite a lot of things that we've actually said within the 17 goals and good collaboration spirits. And so
Yeah.
in this, I actually showed some certain positivity in how two kids actually comes all the way together, join hands, and then with the exuberance that they are going back to school. And so they are in their school attire. There's some certain maybe goal 14 in there and some certain essence of goal 4 as maybe the quality education coming in.
Mm.
Now, I also now thought about leaving my images in black and white, showing the vulnerable state of them that who doesn't even know what the future holds.
Hmm.
Because you and I only hope that okay, by 5 or an hour from now, we have a place we're going. But the question as if that place will come up, you and I don't know.
Yeah.
And so the main thing is that one, you just need to first understand the state that each and every child over there or any of my paintings out there is yes black and white, but vulnerable in the black and white, but colorful with hope, as how the SDGs has its own 17 different colors.
That's right.
And so the side where it comes red, that maybe quality education has the color red for, I
Mm.
actually place it in the form where it is broken in that sense that it is still building. It is not up to quality education yet. But when
Right.
you
Right.
go extremely closer to that image of that one, that the two kids has the hand on the
On the
neck
left
of
hand
the
side.
other, there is
Yes.
a exile on the left hand side. There's a school bag, and right on the school bag has a very nice design of infrastructures, other
Mm.
few buildings and all that. And so though they are working, though they are having the zeal that they are getting themselves educated or getting to be in school, the question is that do they still have the hope that the future is going to be what the school is preaching out to be?
Hmm.
Now, on the right side is where I needed to bring in something very, very significant and has been something quite a bit questionable to quite a number of things, though it was positive. But then, Eric, think through.
Mm.
We started years ago thinking all about mother, child, mother, child, mother, child.
Yeah.
And then we brought in the sense of inequality, gender equality, and then all of that.
Yeah.
Now, this is where we have a very simple image depicting a girl and a boy, and then each of them has got a window at the back in the sense of still, showing the essence of hope.
Mm.
But the girl's window is colorful and actually made gold
Yes.
in the sense we need to start addressing issues as in relation how we get to patronize and promote extreme things to women and children.
Yes.
Now, mine is that I'm not against women because that is the work that I do. I'm an activist and I work along with getting women to do the best, getting to have children to have the best.
Yes.
But I think it has been overrated in how we actually putting the girl child into a certain space, and then the boy child is actually having also another space, which I will not say that one is less and one is more, but I'm only just cautioning the carefulness as in how we will need to build, because now it is almost showing that the boy child will need to glow a number of ways to now come out to actually depict that yes indeed that there is something out there, but then yet they need to face more struggle than women.
That's true. That's true. That's
Mm.
true. It's been really well depicted, and the message is very clear in here. Having explained it now, I can see it very clearly where we need to
Sure,
promote girl child education. Um, we
exactly.
know that most times I mean, when my dad was growing up, for instance, he said that his education was chosen over her sisters at that time.
Mm, mm,
So that
mm,
has been our story
mm.
for quite some time. And what your art is depicting is that we should pay attention to the girl child education, which is one of the biggest.
Exactly.
So you've depicted that really well, and I think the world
Sure.
should pay attention to that. Well done, Patrick, for that.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
The next two, what
Wow.
is the no, carry on. You had something to say, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh well, so that image that you just actually showed, the one on the left is an
Yeah.
award-winning image from Boynance
Oh
from
wow.
20, that's 2020 within the COVID time. You know, all these images actually started, birthing from the COVID era. So when people feel maybe the COVID was all negative, some of us actually made the best of how we can probably produce maybe good things out of within the lockdown and all this. So
Yeah.
the one on the right, on the left, was actually entered into is a boy, yeah, Boynance
Finance competition. Yeah.
awards,
Yeah.
exactly, and actually won the competition for 2020.
Oh wow. Well done. Well done. I like, your pieces are simplistic yet very poignant in the message that they convey,
Sure.
and the accuracy in terms of when the technicality when it comes to, let's say,
Mm,
proportions or depicting the figure
mm,
aspect. You really you
yeah,
you you achieve that very excellently, and that's what I'd like to.
perfectly well.
Yeah, yeah, well done. And as you said, it comes as a result of years of practice. It's not something that you just.
Exactly.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Great. So the
Sure.
one on the right hand side.
Yes. So the one on the right hand side, I wanted to depict about what we actually, or that's on the SDGs, no hunger, and also maybe how we can depict. I mean, the color itself would not relate with the no hunger, but then it was, is something that I needed to put within the image itself,
Mm,
having the expression of a child with the hands at the back, which a father, a mother, a guardian doesn't know what the child holds. And
yeah.
so most of the times we're trying to build the future of children, but we actually get to be, let me say, confused, or probably gets to escape trying to witness the best within the hands of the child.
Mm,
And I
mm,
speak this and putting myself in the mess because I needed to fight so much in my family to depict that yes, it is art I want to do,
yeah.
regardless of any other talent I actually wanted to do. But then I think that with time, I gave them a reason. I think I've said this on several um, interviews,
That's
that
right.
sometimes it's not a fault of our parents
Hmm.
to actually get to say that we want you to be an accountant, we want you to be
A doctor.
maybe a doctor or
Yeah.
whatsoever,
Yes.
but it's exactly, but it's only because that we the children don't give our parents a reason to support us, because there is no parent that will continue paying the school fees of a child who keeps joining a football like a stone. And
Hmm.
whenever I say this, it goes wow to quite a number of people, but that is the hard truth. And so we, the children, if we indeed, or we, the youth, if we indeed want good support, we need to give our agency, our destiny helpers, the reason for them to actually support us. And that is what it was actually there. So I really speak myself to that image in particular.
Mm,
It's my
mm.
favorite.
I mean,
Yeah.
this image gets me thinking. There's a void on the left
Yeah.
hand side of the image. The child
Sure.
is on the right hand side, and you
Sure.
begin thinking what is going on that
Mm-hmm.
space in the world,
Yeah.
in the mind's eye of that child.
Mm,
What is the
mm,
child thinking of? So
mm.
you leave that to people to interpret, which is beautiful.
Exactly. A lot. A
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, very well done.
Wow.
There's a comment that's
It's
coming in
wonderful.
from Emanuela Donko. Emanuela Donko says that Brother Patrick, great work
Thank
done.
you, Ma.
Keep it up, brother.
Sure.
Emanuela,
Thank
thank you.
you.
I bet you know that's commenting as well.
Oh yes, yes,
Good,
yes,
good,
yes.
good, good, good. And a good friend of mine, Charles, says he's waving actually. So Charles Anaman,
Uh-huh.
thanks for joining us this afternoon. Great. So
Exactly.
yes, I think your work really tells stories that nobody sometimes thinks of, and is
Mm-hmm.
in line with these SDG goals.
Yes.
What is the role of art in SDG? And by
Wow.
SDG, we mean the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. What role does
Thank
art
you.
play?
I would probably say that this answer would go to my head at the UN,
Mm,
and I look up to the point that one day my head of state and that of some other few heads in the UN would really get to notify that there is nothing that can be achieved without art,
mm,
and that art is the root of every development.
that's right.
We've actually spoken about SDGs. The question in here is that if it was just the words alone that could have implemented it, then we were not actually in the space to actually have a logo for it. We're
Mm,
not actually in the space to actually have colors in relation to identify each and every goal.
mhm,
And I believe for a fact that even without the space of art in it, there wouldn't have been any point for us to be able to achieve, because each goal comes with a plan that comes in with with other drawings and other things that shows the exact thing we want to see in the nearby future. We
that's
want
right.
to see maybe a certain Afrofuturism things where things I mean has changed to a certain extent of our AI, artificial intelligence, but yet the question in here is that all these things are implemented based on good planning and good branding, and which comes and falls under arts. And so the contribution that art actually plays within the SDGs is massive and is the
Mm,
prime core that they need to understand these things for. My probably next point of this might probably I might use Dubai or
yeah,
Emirates as an example.
that's
And
right.
brother, trust me, Dubai some years ago was just sand,
Yes, a plain desert somewhere.
a plain desert, and then maybe more current people who are ready to actually also invest into the sub-Saharans and all that should just understand that everything within that side was just sand. But then
Mm,
for them to start the place, they only needed some few artists to come in, even before architects. Yet
exactly.
architects are equally also artists. But then today we are seeing beautiful things, and beautiful things do attract others. So
Yes.
if you might probably have a product in a shop, not everyone enters maybe the filling station mall or probably the filling station mart that actually gets to know exactly what they want or what they are going for. Because
Mm,
even if you go by saying that you're going for um, Coca-Cola, you
yes.
might end up getting there and it might Coca-Cola might not be present, but yes, still you'll pick up something different. Not necessarily that that is what you want to drink, but sometimes only because that the design on it is beautiful. And so
Exactly.
if we really want other people to patronize and get to understand that the SDGs, which is the Sustainable Development Goals, is the future of we, the human beings. And even
Mm,
with that, I always say we are not human yet. We are being human.
that's right. Human beings. So it's an
Yes, we are
it's a verb actually.
exactly.
It's a continuous human being. We live it.
Exactly. We exactly. So we are not humans yet. And so we should just try and understand that each and every space of it that we live in, that is why we
Mm,
say art is life.
that's right.
Every day of it, it is. So SDGs can never be achieved no matter the amount of money you spend on it, no matter the amount of effort you put in.
That's a shame we've lost Patrick briefly, but guys, he'll be coming back to carry on. We just lose the sound briefly. But yes, Patrick, carry on. We just missed a little bit of what you were saying, but carry on.
Okay, so I actually made mention that when you actually get to think through with all this, just know that art is life.
That's
And
right.
so when yeah, exactly. So when you actually think of art as life, then definitely SDGs can never be achieved, no matter the amount of money you might probably put in,
Mm,
you will end up wasting the entire money. We need art to plan it. We need art to get everything implemented and done well.
well done, well done, well done, well done. You put it in perspective. And for those who don't know what the SDG goals are, I'll briefly,
Mhm.
quickly skim through the 17 of them. And you'll realize that as Patrick is reinforcing, art is the basis for each one of them. So, number
Mm.
one, no poverty. Number
Mhm.
two, zero hunger. Number three, good health and well-being. Number four, quality
Yeah.
education. Number five,
Education.
gender equality. Number six, clean water and sanitation. Number seven, affordable
Mhm.
and clean energy. Number eight, decent work and economic growth. Number nine, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Number 10, reduce inequality. Number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Number 12, responsible consumption and production. Number 13, climate action. Number 14, life below water. Number 15, life on land. Number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And then the last but not the least, number 17, partnership for the goals. Now, if you think through all
Exactly.
these things that I've mentioned, which one would you embark on without first creatively thinking about either the process, the actual product, or the outcome? You have to use art to be able to achieve each one of them.
Big brother, I believe for a fact that the world was actually created based on getting to know. He, God knowing, the all knowing God.
Yeah.
Anything related knowing, meaning knowledge. And so I will embark each and every time on go for, which is quality education. Now,
That's right.
quality education is not about a big building that actually has maybe a good seats to actually sit on and be comfortable, because I
Yes.
believe that Aristotle and all those wonderful Plato and all that, they didn't
Gates,
have
all
good exact. They didn't have, I mean, the more comfortable, furnitures we have today to bring out the best of what they actually had. But then, education is what we need, an education with good experience, and so quality education for go for is what I always embark for, and that is what I move from one country to the other to help out, buying school bags, buying quite a lot of things,
material,
pencils, art
yeah,
materials, and helping other people. And so that is what I do, and that is what I will continue to do, because what I'm doing is creating the awareness, then creating the knowledge, and making people understand that there is an essence for our hospitality to be reached out well by means of giving.
very well said. And definitely we'll be working together on this because it's a common goal
Thank
of
you.
mine as well to equip
Sure.
the young
The
to
whole
have
world.
all the necessary, especially the creative materials needed for
Hmm.
them to be creative from the onset. So a few comments
Exactly.
are coming from Charles Anaman, who is in the United States of America. He says that I'm always jealous of anyone that is able to continue to practice in the arts because I feel like creativity needed is what is missing in many of the sciences where I work. So he's a scientist. And
Wow. Wow.
as we grow, our parents
Mm-hmm.
or our environment fizzles out
Mm-hmm.
the creativity within us. And we think that
Mm-hmm.
being a scientist or being a mathematician or doesn't involve art. But all these
It's
fields
true.
have come to realize involves
Yeah.
art.
Yes.
And then he goes
Yes.
on to say,
Perfectly well.
yeah, that even now, as people are getting upset about the machine learning software is able to replicate art, what they are actively missing out is it's opening up the minds to options that have been lost out. And then the last
Very
one
true.
that he writes is that the reason why I think artists are angry is because the machines are able to explore the part of the human innovation that have been missing to us because of limited curriculum. Charles, you couldn't have put it in. And Charles is talking about AI, artificial intelligence.
Wow.
The AI art has
Mm.
become a thing of the norm as well, and it's
Exactly.
pushing the boundaries of our imagination.
Sure.
Now, when you put in text of what you're thinking
Mm.
of or what you're imagining,
Mm.
AI is able to bring you a visual representation of what you were thinking.
Yes. Exactly.
So, Charles, technology, science, and art goes together.
Sure.
You cannot take
Sure.
one and lose the other. And art
Hmm.
is the basis, as Patrick is saying, of everything.
Exactly. So, Eric, as in relation to what Charles is saying, and then something in relation with AI,
Mm,
artificial intelligence, it brings me to the point where I move from one school to the other teaching non-fungible tokens, that is NFTs. And
that's
I
right.
know that these things are come to stay. And so it's also a very wonderful thing, or a space where people will need to now understand that though we do the traditional arts, but by means of painting, but we need to embrace the very common grounds of maybe the new technology. And so if maybe NFTs are in, we need to be in it and then probably learn, and not to be ignorant and then stay behind and say that is not my field. Yeah.
Very well said. Very well said. We're all for continuous learning. So, as
Mhm.
artists, we should not be naive and get stuck in just one traditional way of doing things, but explore
Sure.
all forms of human creativity. This is where our
Exactly.
mind is taking us to. explore that and see the good things of it. So very well done, Patrick. It's been a pleasure. But if people need to know more of you, I've put Patrick's details on the screen.
Sure.
Scan that barcode over there. It will take you straight to his website. What's the website again? Just for people's benefit.
Is www.patrickwilliam-dodoo.com. So my full name for everything. When you Google Patrick William-Dodoo, it will actually take you to each and every place you just want.
Exactly. And he's doing fantastically on Instagram as well. I love his Instagram page. So at Patrick William-Dodoo, and you see a lot what he does over there.
Thank you,
thank you
brother.
so much for today. It's been such
Thank you more.
I mean, when I was doing season 1, you were the first person that came on as my guest. And season 2, you are the first person. You are a true brother. I really appreciate you. God bless
It's the
you.
Lord's doing. Sure. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. And thank each and everyone who actually also watch. Yeah.
Great. What are your last words, Patrick?
Well, my last words are just the same thing. Art is the root of every development. The best of every implementation is when you get to start planning. So let us plan, but let's not leave art behind.
Exactly. There's one mild comment from Charles that I would like us to just read before you go. And he said that I've been warning people about AI, but AI is going to make us realize how short we've sold ourselves because we cannot make something that creates things that doesn't exist. These machines are seeing. Now, the machines can see all the information or data that is missing because they can see structures in ways we cannot. And they are just opening us to what is reality. Exactly that. So well done, Charles. But thank you so much, Patrick, for today. And it's been a pleasure. So thank you. Great. Viewers, thank you so much for today. Thank you for joining us. And as I was saying earlier, if you really want to follow Patrick, go on to the platforms that he's on. I'll put it back on again. You scan that barcode with your phone and it will take you to his website. Also, when you go on his Instagram, his Facebook, YouTube channel, you see exactly what Patrick has been up to. But if you want to see more of prolific artists from the continent of Africa, I'll be bringing every single week. Don't forget to go to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to see everyone that I'm bringing. I'm going to put my YouTube channel details on there. YouTube channel is African Art with Eric. If you type that in, or at EMAB75, I'll be coming up there so that you see everything that I'm up to with regarding bringing prolific artists every single week. I'm not going to fill this year. I'm going to bring you people from all corners of the continent of Africa. As long as it's Black art, we're going to showcase it. So thank you so much for joining me this week, and God bless you. Goodbye. See you.